Welcome to your total body resistance band burst with a physioball and dumbbell strength circuit workout. So you can use resistance bands. I do highly recommend them in this case in a variety of strengths. You're going to need a light, maybe a medium, and a heavy to work through each of our 3 exercises that make up our resistance band burst. Then in that those are 45 on, 20 off. Then we're moving into 6 different exercises, 60 on, 20 off. These exercises are meant to build strength, so we're aiming for 8 to 12 repetitions. In these ones, you can use dumbbells and a physioball. The physioball should be rated to support your weight and for your height. If you don't have a physioball, don't worry. In 5 seconds, you're gonna hear a tone. Make sure you pause here and get your warm-up in. Otherwise, I'm going to be explaining our very first exercises. So in 30 seconds, we're gonna get started. Our first exercise is with a lightweight mini band. It's a compound movement aiming for our shoulders. We're doing a lateral lunge, stacking our toes, knees, hips in a nice straight line. With that band anchored under our bottom foot, we're gonna go into a scaption. Thumbs pointed up, arms nice and wide. On our first round, we're gonna stay all on one side. Get ready to come with me, here we go. So out to the side, stepping out, with the foot anchored underneath our stable foot, and we're coming to that balance position for that scaption. So stepping out, toes, knees, hips, nice straight line. Whoop, coming back to balance. Now if you need to, you can tap those toes down. And then for that scaption, we're really focusing on our shoulders, staying down and back, our thumbs pointing towards the ceiling, and going into that nice wide V. We keep our shoulders down and back by keeping a nice head position. Chin tucked, head back, standing up nice and tall. When we bring those arms up and out to the side, last one, they're 30 degrees in front of the body. Don't forget which leg you started on. Now, we're gonna go to a kneeling banded close press. You guys have 10 seconds so you can switch those bands. Feel free to be on a mat or a pillow for those knees. Our knees are in line with our hips, our feet are flexed, our palms are facing. With that band around those shoulders, we're punching those arms together, squeezing our chest, all right? Notice that as I come back, my elbows are away from my sides, about 45 degrees. My knuckles are pointing forward, punching, if you will. All right, if you feel like that medium band is too light or the light band is too light, feel free to move up to the next one and use it as a single loop. You just want to choke up on that band so that you've got that tension and then punching forward. Again, we want that good posture. Pushing back through those toes. We keep the chest up nice and tall, roll the shoulders down and back. Chin tucked, head back. So my ears are stacked over the shoulders, over those hips. They go really fast. All right, next we're going to a squat with a banded row. So taking that band out in front of us, lining up those toes straight ahead. We're gonna sit down into a squat, stand up, pull apart and squeeze towards the middle of that chest. Again, and you're coming with me in 2, here we go. Sitting down, standing up, squeezing the glutes, pull apart and squeeze. All right, now again, you can go back and rotate between, figure out which band is gonna give you the best challenge for what you need today. Or pull apart and squeeze. As we do this, we want to keep the shoulders down and back. We're bringing those elbows about 45 degrees from the sides. Notice that as I pull here, I stop when my arms stop. I'm not rotating forward. I'm not squeezing my shoulder blades together. That way I keep good shoulder position, proper posture. 7 seconds, squeezing the bum, gentle pulling on that belly button. This finishes our resistance band burst. Now we're going into the main part of that workout, 60 on, 20 off with those dumbbells. Again, we're gonna start off with a lighter dumbbell. We have a deadlift with a bicep curl to a close press in 15 seconds. Our toes point straight ahead, they're hip width apart. For that deadlift, we bring that chest a little bit closer to parallel towards the ground like we're picking something up. And then we go up to the shoulders and press overhead, shoulders down and back. Come with me, here we go. So we bend the knees for that deadlift. I don't want a stiff leg deadlift. where we lock those legs straight. We're bending at the knees as if we're picking something up off the ground. We keep our spine nice and neutral. And then as we push overhead, we're trying to feel those shoulder blades rotate. We shouldn't feel anything in that upper back and neck area. It should be focused to the shoulders, and you may even feel a stretch to the outside of the armpits. That means you have good shoulder position, which a lot of us struggle to do as we push overhead. If we are feeling like we have that upper back and neck plane, please go down to a scaption, just like we did in the warm-up round, really focusing on bringing those arms so that the shoulders stay down and back. 3 seconds here. Beautiful. Now we're going to a lunge supported supinated row. So you can go a little bit heavier on those weights because this is a row. We're using bigger back muscles. We're going to hold one dumbbell and the same leg is going to go back for that lunge position. Our body is supported on the leg that's bent. We're going to open the palm so it points away from us. That's supinated. And then we're pulling towards that hip. Come with me. Nice, slow, and controlled. So notice we're only doing one side here, so it's important we keep count. That way, we're going to do the same number of repetitions on the opposite side. Really important here. I want you to lift your chest as if you're pointing a beam of light straight ahead of you. All right? It's easy to kind of fall towards that ground and look too close in front and create a lot of issues in the upper back and neck area, where our hand is lightly on our legs supporting. We exhale, pull up, and inhale as we go nice and controlled down. All right. Feeling this work along the outside of that armpit, but also on that front leg in the glute area. Notice my feet are hip width apart. All 5 of my toes are pushing into the floor, keeping my heel stacked over my toes. Can put that weight down, shake it out, because you're going to feel that glute working on that front leg. We're going to switch sides. So same thing, opposite side. Paying attention to picking things up, making sure that we have a nice neutral spine because we're going in 2. Remember, palm facing away from us. That's supinated. And then that nice pull towards that hip. Now, I say pull towards the hip because the higher up we pull, the more we're likely to squeeze the shoulder up towards that ear. That's not what we want because we really want to focus on that back and good, healthy shoulder position. This means relaxing the upper back and neck area that tends to cause bad head position and that feeling of stress. All right, so we're keeping count here, trying to do the same number of repetitions on both sides. I tried to readjust my foot and lost my balance. Sorry about that. Nice and controlled. Remember, we're in muscle building in this circuit. So we want to aim for those 8 to 12 repetitions. If we're not feeling that challenge in the weight by the end, and we have 6 seconds, so 2 more reps, these should be the most challenging. If we're not feeling that, we need to increase the weight a little bit. All right, your next exercise has that physioball involved. We're going to do a physioball wall squat. So we're going to place our dumbbells on the ground, and then we're going to put that ball on our lower back. So the dumbbells are right beside us. We're going to bend those knees, pick them up, and we're going to simply do a squat here. Feet hip width apart, toes straight ahead. We sit down into that squat, stand up nice and tall, push the hips forward and squeeze the glutes. Now, as I do squats here, it's just like sitting in a chair. We sit the hips down and back. What this ball does is it helps improve our chest position in our squat, especially if we're limited in our range of motion in our calves. If we don't have a ball or a wall in our space, simply move to a squat here. Sitting down, trying to stay nice and even between those feet. Good position on that chest and back is chest and shins parallel. Neutral spine, meaning I have a small arch. I'm not dipping down through here. That's really hard on the back and hips. We also don't need to be going low enough that our hips dip under, like mine probably just did. All right, take a deep breath. You can go to a little bit lighter weights here. We're going to a physioball chest press. If you don't have a physioball, go ahead and do these on the floor. We want to roll that ball away from the area, grab some dumbbells. We're going to sit down on the ball. And we're going to walk our feet out until our chest, our shoulders and head are supported by the physioball. Toes, knees, hips in a nice straight line. Glutes are tight, belly button in. And then we're simply pressing up and together with those dumbbells. Nice, slow, controlled start. As those dumbbells come down with control towards our chest, they're in line with the middle of our sternum, all right? So we don't want them too high because, again, this puts our shoulders into a prone position. We want to keep the wrist stacked over top of the elbows. One thing I commonly see is we let those elbows come out wide. I don't know if you can tell at that angle, but we kind of get a collapse. The dumbbells stay in and the elbows go wide. That doesn't give us a nice, strong, supportive arm position. It can be hard on the elbows as well. Last one. Beautiful. One last exercise, a physioball glute bridge with rotation. This is meant for recovery and really good for the core. We're going to go into a similar position on the physioball if we have it. If not, again, just do it on the floor nice and supported. Roll the ball out. Head and shoulders supported by the ball. Toes, knees, hips, nice straight line. We're going to bring our hands together up in front. Lift our hips, and then we're tipping to the side like the time on a clock. All right, down with control. Big squeeze up. We're going to tip in the opposite direction each time. So think of the hands on a clock. We're going up, 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Now what you're going to feel is as you go side to side, your bum has to really work to keep the toes, knees, and hips in a nice straight line. What you're going to feel is the knee on the same side as that you tip to, that knee is going to want to pop in there. So you really have to focus on squeezing it out over those toes, keeping that good alignment. Again, it's not a huge shift. On the ground, it's going to be a small lift of that shoulder off the ground. Guys, that's round number 1. We're back to that resistance band burst in 10 seconds. 45 on, 10 off, that lateral lunge to scaption. Band under that opposite foot. Are you ready? Let's go. Out to the side, toes, knees, hips, straight line, up to balance. Thumbs pointed up, shoulders down and back, sitting down into that leg. Now, just like that squat, as we sit down into that lateral lunge, my chest is parallel to my shin. I have a gentle pull in on my belly button, so I'm always supporting my spine. As I come up, whether it's into balance or that kickstand, I'm squeezing my bum on the leg that's on the floor, really focusing on balance and control. And then we hit that positive posture, chest tall and proud. 2 seconds. Already started into your second set here, guys. We're going to go to that kneeling, banded close press. So behind that back here, palms facing, onto the floor or mat. Come with me in 2. Sit back so we can push back through those toes. And then it's that nice punch forward and squeeze. Slow, controlled back. Resistance bands are really cool because unlike dumbbells, you don't need to be working with gravity to get that resistance. We get resistance through that range of motion from that band. So it's important that you get tension. So if your arms aren't long enough, go ahead and choke up. All right, I'm able to use mine as like handles here. It's also important we have that tall, proud chest. Chin tuck and head back. We also don't want to release those arms back all the way so that we get that weird rotation on our shoulders. Big squeeze, 2 seconds, one last one. There you have it. Squat with that banded row. That compound movement, this gets our whole backside talking to each other, supporting, working together. We're going in 7 seconds. Second toe straight ahead, hip width apart. That's in line with your bony hips, not your widest foot set. It is more comfortable to squat with our feet wide. Just because it's more comfortable doesn't mean that's proper positioning. The personalized warm-ups that we provide will help make that squat position more comfortable, keeping our toes, knees, hips supported properly, okay? Nice control down. If you're doing an upper body warm-up, you can go ahead and lift your heels off the floor if you also have that pattern. 10 seconds. If we chose to work on that upper body to help reduce pain. 2 seconds, big finish. We've got a 20-second rest. Shake out the arms. We're hitting that strength circuit with the dumbbell and physioball again. All right, now we are going for that deadlift, bicep curl, close press. Don't forget, if you're using that upper body warm-up, you're not ready to go overhead yet, or you have that upper back and neck pain, we can go to that scaption again. Now, this is actually a hammer curl. I just always refer to it as a bicep curl. Our palms are facing the whole time. If you have any pain in the low back in that deadlift position, either only go down as far as you can without pain or eliminate the deadlift altogether. We can simply go to a squat. Exhale during the hardest part of that movement. Really important, we keep the neutral spine, chin tucked, head back, keeping count and paying attention. We're down to 12 seconds. That means we should be getting towards those heavy repetitions, feeling the shoulders and the arms work here without breaking form. If you're breaking form, you might need to go down and wait. All right? If we don't feel the burn, we might need to go up and wait. We're gonna go to that lunge supported supinated row, shaking out those arms. I'm gonna start on the opposite side this time, just because I like to rotate which side I start with. Feet hip width apart, palm away, supported, that hand on that front leg. Roll the shoulders down and back so we're tall and proud. Notice my back heel is actually lifted off the floor. So if we push down, what tends to happen is the foot turns out, which opens our hips. I want to keep us nice and stacked so we're square over that front leg and we're getting more muscles engaged in this exercise. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see how long and tall I'm pretty upright through my core. I'm looking at about 3 or 4 feet ahead of me. So I don't want you looking down because, again, as soon as we pull down, that's when we start to get more activation in that upper back, the upper traps that give us a lot of pain. 6 seconds. We're feeling it work in the hip, in the back. The back is actually where we're targeting, right? Shake out that arm. 13-second breather. I'm going to grab my water real quick. And we're going to that opposite side. Got to make sure we hydrate, right? 3 seconds. Get yourself ready. Stepping back. Supporting lightly with that front leg. Keeping up nice and tall. Belly button in. I say this a lot. It's really, really important. This isn't a clench, okay, where we flatten things out. This is actually a supportive, drawing in maneuver. A light pull in, just pulling that belly button away from that waistband. What this does is it engages our natural girdle muscles to support our spine, helps reduce low back pain. It's a really important core muscle that's very much forgotten. And we need to be engaging it more frequently in our day-to-day lives as well as our workouts. 7 seconds. Pushing into the burn, embracing it with good form, loving our progress. Beautiful work. We're going to 2 heavier weights here, And we're going to that physioball wall squat. If you don't have that physioball, you're simply doing that squat. All right. So ball against the wall, down low, and then sitting down to pick up those weights. Again, really important, feet are hip width apart, only going down as far as we can, keeping everything in good alignment. What I don't want to see you happening is leaning forward like that. That's actually why we have the ball behind us. Our chest stays up tall. We're not dipping down. Big squeeze on those glutes to stand. If the hands are starting to get tired, you can come to the shoulders here with the wrists stacked over the elbows. This does actually work the core muscles a little bit more. You're also going to feel it in those shoulders, in the arms, 10 seconds. You're also going to feel it working that core just a little bit extra. Really, really good for getting extra core work. All right. It's also really good for the people that are working against things like osteopenia, osteoporosis, preventing these things in our hips and spine. That physioball chest press into, walking those feet out, palms facing the legs, head and shoulders supported, nice slow control down, big up and squeeze. What we don't want to have happen here is have our hips way down low or be pushing way up and arching that back. That gentle pull in on that belly button actually prevents us from arching. We're slow and controlled, lifting with purpose. And actually, the slower down we go, the more muscular damage we're getting. So we get those micro tears in our muscles, especially with the assistance of gravity here. In the resistance bands, it's because of the pull on the resistance bands. So slow control. Those micro tears are what help break our muscle down so that we can build more on top of it. That's why it's so important to fuel our body after a workout, not just with protein, which is very important for muscle growth, but also everything else that we're using. Fats, carbs, electrolytes, physioball glute bridge. Here we go. Aligning toes, knees, hips, hands up in front, hips up. We're tipping to the sides. Again, we shouldn't have any pain here. Big squeeze on those bums, keeping everything in good alignment. Don't forget, if you don't have the physioball, you're down on the floor, and that's okay. You're gonna lift a shoulder just slightly off the ground. We're gonna try to change directions with each repetition. I might forget, so if you see me repeat a side, it's because I'm also trying to talk while I do this, and I may have forgotten which side I did last. 10 seconds. Feeling the hips, so right on the outside of those hips, and then deep within those glutes. If you're feeling this a lot, which you may feel it a lot in the outside back of the thighs, those hamstrings, if you're feeling it a lot there, or you're feeling like you're getting hamstring cramps, pause and do those hamstring kicks. 10 seconds. Last round, guys. Last time through. Building muscle, getting stronger mentally and physically. Lateral lunge with scaption. Here we go. Out to the side. Stacking everything up into balance. We're going to switch legs halfway through our time here. We're nice and tall and long through the crown of that head. This means tucking that chin back, almost feeling like you're creating a double chin. We're going to switch sides. Try to keep it even between both sides. Stacking everything up. Noticing one side might feel harder than the other side. And we say, that's okay. That just means that we need to balance things out. 5 seconds on the home stretch. We're not coming back to these guys. One last one just to keep us even. Beautiful work. Down to that kneeling banded close press. So palms facing, knees hip width apart. Come with me in 2. We're getting ready, chest up tall. Punch together and squeeze. Elbows bent. As we come back, one thing I commonly see is more of that fly. That doesn't get all of the added benefits of working the arms. Notice I don't spend time doing just bicep curls or tricep extensions, all right? When we do things that are just shoulders, we are focusing on good shoulder alignment and position and supporting our musculature that does just that. We're down to that 10 seconds. Even here, we can probably hit 8 repetitions with control and purpose. Oh boy, feeling that chest work. Shake out the arms. We're finishing our resistance band burst with that squat to banded row in 7 seconds here. So band held out front. As we go down into that squat, here we go. We sit the hips down and back. And then we pull apart and squeeze. Nice and controlled. As we pull apart and squeeze, we want to feel our shoulders kind of almost get broad along the outside of that back, okay? What we don't want to feel is that chin wanting to pull forward. What we don't want to feel is firing up between the shoulder blades. A lot of people will tell you that building strong rhomboids, that's the muscles between the shoulder blades, will improve your posture. It will not. 10 seconds. It does the exact opposite. It's just a common misconception here. As we sit down, neutral spine. Feeling that back work. 6 exercises, 6 minutes till you're cool down and stretch. You're gonna have earned it. Think about what weights you've been lifting. How have they been feeling? Assess, and then grab the dumbbells that are gonna feel the best for you today. Hip width apart, going down into that deadlift. Big squeeze on those glutes, up to the shoulders, palms facing for that close press. Nice work, good control. We stay long and tall through the crown of that head. Now it's really important that as we push overhead here in this final round, if we're feeling fatigue and our shoulder blades aren't rotating properly, meaning they're not staying down and back away from the ears, and you're starting to feel the shoulders kind of climb up like this, that's really gonna feel tight in the upper back and neck area. So go ahead and switch to that scaption. If needed, you might need to grab lighter weight dumbbells. But we're down to those 8 seconds. Last 8 seconds. That's 2 repetitions. Maybe even 1, especially if you're slow and controlled. Awesome, awesome work. We're going to that lunge, supported row. Here we go. 1 dumbbell, leg back on the same side as you're holding that dumbbell. We open that palm up. We lean slightly into that front leg, but we keep our chest up tall, pointing our light straight ahead. Chin tucked and head back. Roll the shoulders down and back because we're proud. We're strong. We're working towards our goals. And we're challenging our bodies and minds. Now, it's really important in all of your fitness, all of your videos, anything that you do, that you listen to your body. It doesn't matter what your personal record or your personal best was yesterday. Sometimes today just doesn't feel like it, right? And that's okay. What's more important is you're getting the workout in, no matter what it looks like. I'm already feeling the burn. 6 seconds. Slow, controlled down. Oh, baby. Feeling that work. Shake out the arm. Shake out the leg. Oh, feeling the challenge. embracing it and loving it. And we're being successful because we're getting it done. And we're making it count with good form. 3 seconds, we're on to the other side. Up tall. We're proud, we're strong. We focus on good form here. Roll those shoulders down and back. Chin tucked, head back. As you pull up and squeeze, we aren't rotating that chest. We're not squeezing the shoulder blades together. There was an old cue like squeeze the pencil between your shoulder blades. We don't want to be feeling that way. It's a light squeeze, but at all times we should be able to feel that shoulder stay down, that chin stay tucked. As soon as we start to get that squeeze, we're going to feel that chin want to come forward and those shoulders want to climb up towards those ears. Those muscles all go hand in hand. 13 seconds, guys. Embrace that burn, embrace that challenge, and be proud of your hard work. Last one. Yes. Put that dumbbell down. Grab the weight that feels challenging for that physioball wall squat. Ooh. Or that regular squat if you don't have that physioball or you don't have that open wall space. All right, into. Here we go. So, sitting down for that squat. Remember, this one's more like sitting in a chair rather than picking something up. The biggest difference between squats and deadlifts is chest position. In the way I coach squats and deadlifts, we don't change our foot position. We're lining up our body, getting support from all of our stabilizing muscles, rather than changing our foot position, which removes some of our stabilizing muscles. So we can get strong in strong alignment, good body position, healthy movement patterns. Down to 10 seconds. As I go down, I'm looking at the floor about 3 or 4 feet in front. And when I'm up, I'm about 8 to 10 feet. Last one. 2 exercises left, guys. Give it all you've got. We're going to that physioball chest press. Dumbbells that challenge you in those last 2 to 3 reps without breaking form. Sit down on that ball. Walk those feet out. Line up those toes, knees, and hips. And then we're up and together. Remember, the wrists are stacked over those elbows. If you're feeling like that's really hard, you can bring your palms to facing and bring those elbows closer to that body to practice that position. Going with the palms away can be a little bit harder on the shoulders. Guys, we're over halfway there. This is our last really strenuous exercise, right? So the last exercise, we're working those big muscles. Our heart rate is higher. We're feeling it in the chest, the shoulders, the back of those arms. 5 seconds. Even my glutes are really talking today. Lots of leg work. We've gotten a lot of work in today with all of these rounds. Last exercise right here before your cool down and stretch. We've got that physioball glute bridge with rotation. Walk the feet out. Head and shoulders supported again. We're ready. Yes, we are. 6 seconds for that finish line. 6 seconds before that cool down and stretch. Rotating, tipping side to side. That upper body moves, but the bottom is in strong alignment. We're feeling the glutes and the hips work. The belly button in for support on that core. Beautiful, strong body position. Really feeling that core challenge. Sometimes our upper body has to move and our hips need to engage and stabilize our knee and ankle position. That's important in day-to-day life, supporting our body. We're under 10 seconds to that final tone, and that cool down and stretch, it's waiting for us. There it is. Push that ball off to the side, get a quick drink, and we're gonna hit that focused cool down and stretch, stretching muscles that have that propensity to get tight and cause pain and injury. All right, starting off, the toes wide, our feet straight ahead, but the feet are wider than shoulder width. We're gonna take one foot, it's gonna step slightly forward, heel in line with the opposite toes, lean over that side leg, and we're squeezing the bum. There are certain stretches that I do almost every single time, and this is because they have the propensity to get tight. This stretch, as you squeeze your bum and tuck those hips under, you're gonna feel either right in the front of that hip, which tells you how tight your hips are, or along the inside of that thigh. Feeling it along the inside of that thigh, these muscles pull our legs, our knees in. This is a pattern that causes knee pain, ankle instability, knee instability, hip pain, lots of things. Nobody wants any of those things, so stretch it out. Go ahead and switch sides. I always aim, so resetting, toes straight ahead, other foot slightly forward, leaning into that leg, squeeze the glutes. So it's important to remember that I'm always holding these stretches for about 30 seconds because I want to get through as many as I can. If you don't feel these muscles relax from that stretch, pause and hold a little bit longer. It can actually take up to 2 minutes, depending on how frequently or how tight your muscles, how frequently you're stretching or how tight your muscles are. We're gonna hit the floor for a hip flexor and quad stretch. Feel free to get a mat or a pillow for that back knee. Our back foot is flexed. Our feet are hip width apart, and we're simply gonna squeeze the bum, tuck the hips under. We can reach up towards the ceiling, even add that small lean to the side. Now we should feel an increase in stretch through the front of the hip and that thigh as we reach up or as we reach over. If we don't feel an increase in stretch, just go ahead, stay right here. If we have kneecap pain, and we can go ahead and switch sides, go ahead and do this on a raised surface. I'm gonna show you on the same side, but I want you to switch. Our knee and foot are supported on a surface that keeps our hips nice and neutral. We step one foot slightly forward, and then it's the same thing. All this does is it prevents people who have potentially osteoarthritis and things, or kneecap damage, or just knee pain in general, from putting all of our weight and bearing down onto that knee, so we can still really enjoy this stretch. And it feels so, so good. It's one of my favorites. Everybody's hips get tight, which is why I always do it. This is another one that I always do. Now, we're gonna go to a child's pose. Toes together, knees wide. We're gonna reach our hands away, roll our shoulders down and back, press those hips towards our heels and the shoulders towards the floor, keeping our shoulders away from the ears so we feel a nice stretch through the outside of our armpits, potentially through that chest and lower back. If we have knee pain here, we can use a raised surface to do the exact same thing. We're just not getting that same deep knee bend. Big deep breath in. Exhale. Press that chest towards the floor. One more big deep breath in as we feel the belly expand, the ribs expand. Inhale. Exhale. Finally, we're going to finish with some hamstring kicks because I told you about them. So just as a reminder, legs nice and straight, we lie back. We bend one knee, we take the opposite hand, it goes around the front and grabs the outside back. And then our hips flat on the floor, we're going to kick. Kicking one leg like it's going up and over our opposite shoulder. Feeling that stretch through the outside back of the thigh, down into the back of that calf potentially. But our foot stays relaxed here. If we flex it, we may feel a stretch that goes all the way down to our foot. That is not a muscle. That is simply your sciatic nerve being stretched in that position. You're not getting anything functional out of it other than maybe feeling like you are. What you're going to feel is the front of your thigh is going to start to burn. Hopefully, the back of that thigh calms down and no longer feels that stretching sensation. When you reach that point, go ahead and switch sides. Opposite knee up, grabbing opposite hand towards the outside back of that leg, kicking over the opposite shoulder. Foot flat, foot relaxed, hips on the floor. Enjoying that stretch. This is our final stretch, guys. Oh, baby. I hope you feel like your body was challenged. Your mind was challenged. You feel that release, like you work towards your goals and you embraced the burn and all of your hard work. Way to make time for you, way to work towards your goals. And thank you for trusting me with your body and giving me the opportunity to help you in your fitness journey and your health journey, really. All right, please give me feedback, comments, anything I can do to make these exercises better, help you feel your best and live your best life. I hope to see you again next time, and keep up the great work.